Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel, Crafty Concepts with Erin. Welcome. If you are new here, I'm so glad you found my channel. And today we're going to be doing a scrapbook layout walkthrough. These are all ones that I've done more recently, and a lot of them have a process video on my YouTube channel here, but not all of them. There are some layouts in here that do not have videos, so I will be sharing single and double page layouts. And again, for those that are new here, I do make cards on this channel also, but today we're going to be focusing on scrapbook layouts. So I'll move this out of the way and we'll look at one at a time. So this first layout is from the Perfect Match collection, and if any of these paper packs are still available, I will leave them in the description box below. But some of these are from January, so they may or may not be available. So again, this is Perfect Match, and I have, for those that don't know me, I have boys. I don't have any daughters. So when I get the chance to do more, colors like this with big bold florals, I am super excited because I absolutely love florals. And this is a fun color palette. So anytime, I got a picture of me or me with my girlfriends, I'm going for those flowers. So this paper or page came together so quickly because it was all stickers from the sticker sheet. The title, the florals, these little elements here were stickers. So it's just a matter of layering your, coordinating papers down and then adding the stickers, boom, boom, boom. And, it makes for a very quick yet impressive layout. I added a few bluebell gems here around each of my embellishment clusters and an acrylic heart. So that does add some dimension. And I do pop up some of the stickers on dimensional foam because I do like that layering look and the little shadow it gives behind the embellishments. All right. Okay, this is another layout done with that same Perfect Match collection, and this was scrapbook lifted by Kelsey Weber, I believe. I'll have to check and leave her name linked below. But I love how she did this folded corner, and I really wanted to recreate the layout. And I think she scrap lifted it from someone else, and that's how this goes. We see a layout and we want to create it. So Close to My Heart's pattern paper is double-sided, so this was a really fun way to show off that double-sided pattern paper. And I love how this folded corner made the perfect spot for my journaling and some embellishment clusters. So again, all of these, were stickers from the sticker sheet. We have some coordinating acrylic pieces that I brought in from the Happiest Place, which is on special right now at the time of this video. So just some fun elements. I brought in some titles from my stash. This is a layout of my son and his girlfriend. So again, got a girl on there. I got to use my big bold florals even though it's my teenage son. So this was a fun layout, and I really love the color palette. The mint paper pack is so pretty with the black and the pink. I just think that is a stunning color combo. This layout here was done for the creative design team, and we challenged ourselves to use pocket cards. I love using pocket cards, and originally I did Project 365 where you do a photo a day, and so I had kind of collected a ton of pocket cards. So having a challenge where I could use as many as possible on one page was a good challenge for me. I do have, this is pattern paper that I ran an embossing, through the embossing folder. I don't know if you can see that texture on there. Yeah, there you go. So we ran that through our embossing folder just to give it some interest. I have some splatters with the shimmer brush and then some, elements from my stash. And then these are all pocket cards. So I just layered them up to create this border. And then I used the 4x6 pocket cards behind my photo. I used two of them kind of offset to create a photo mat. And so this product is no longer available. This was the Avonlea collection. It was so pretty, but that was a fun stash busting challenge for sure. Great way to use pocket cards. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pocket cards on one layout. Awesome. Okay, this layout, we have a double page. I know it's going to make some of you very happy. This was the Happiness Lives Here collection, and I used it to document my family game night. And of course, my kid here is being really goofy, and he's got his shirt tucked into his underwear. So everybody was laughing. We have nice, authentic smiles. It was funny. So yeah, I like this layout. I thought this was kind of a fun one. Definitely one I will repeat. And I was really enjoying stamping, creating these embellishment clusters by starting with stamping and then adding stickers and die cuts on top of that to create multiple layers. And then we talked about, on this layout, creating balance across a double page spread. So you can see I like to do things in odd numbers. So we have 1, 2, 3 embellishment clusters, and that forms a visual triangle and just draws your eye throughout the layout. So that was kind of the talking point behind this process video, but I was really happy with how this turned out, and I thought the colors were fun. Okay, next one. Another Happiness Lives Here collection. So you can see same collection as the last layout we just looked at, but by, eliminating some of the colors and changing up the pattern papers, you can get a whole different look. This title is off of the sticker sheet, and I love the detailing on the title. And then we did a little stenciling in the background. Close to My Heart has some amazing 12 by 12 stencils, so you can really easily cover a scrapbook layout. So we just did the little stenciling, layered the title over, and then these are all from the coordinating sticker sheet, or this was like a pocket card that I fussy cut out. So I always get the pocket cards with the collection and use them on my layouts. So really, really happy with the way this layout turned out. I just think that yellow is so bright and happy. So again, Happiness lives here. And then, and we did vellum journaling. I printed that out on vellum, and so we could still see that pattern paper through the background. And that is something I love to do. This layout is another design team project where we were doing some stash busting. So we just had to use things from our stash. So a lot of this goes way back. The paper, some of these things I've had for 10 years. So I was happy to dive into my stash and rediscover some old favorites. And I just thought this layout of my son, he's being super goofy. We're late for school that morning, and I catch him outside in his cloak, reciting his Bible verse that he was, supposed to have memorized by that day, of course. And he's just belting it out in a Scottish accent. And when I found him, I just had to laugh. It was so funny. But this is a really simple layout. A lot of these were leftover scrap pieces of paper. So we just, kind of cut the little banner element and did a little tucking and layering, and that came together really nicely. Okay, here is one I did for my private customer appreciation group. And on this layout, we were just kind of exploring how to make an interesting layout with very minimal supplies. So we basically just had cardstock, just a little tiny bit of pattern paper, but we created all this background interest with ink smushing. So we just had a piece of recycled acetate and did the ink smushing, and then a stamp to create the circular elements. And then all of these were stamps. So we do have some acrylic stars, but everything else was stamping, and again, just minimal supplies for an epically cool layout. So I thought that was fun the way that turned out, and was super easy to do. Now, I am a sucker for the ocean and all things coastal, so we do visit the beach and we love to go tide pooling. It's something I grew up doing, and I'm so happy that I get to share it with my boys and take them to the same places I got to explore. So this was another creative design team challenge to use embellishments. So I dug through and found a bunch of my, beach and ocean themed embellishments and created this grid style layout. And this is like a classic layout where you do, these are 4x4 squares. And so I thought that was really fun. I oriented my photos in such a way that, my son's over here to the right looking in. So I intentionally placed the photo there. And again, this one's kind of centered on the outer edge to the left. So that creates a very diagonal line that has good balance to it. So, always look at your photos and how, the subject in the photo is positioned, because it does make a difference on your finished layout. But we just used some chipboard, some stickers, sequins, some word stickers, and whatever I did in one, I kind of tried to repeat in the other. So, and then we added some little strip journaling, and this was a really fun layout. This is one of my favorite paper packs. It was called Seize the Day, and I love that blue wood grain paper. I just thought it was so pretty. Here is a really fun and vibrant layout featuring the Sweet Safari collection. So all sorts of fun colors going on, and you can see my boys there just they were pretending they were running from the T-Rex on Jurassic Park. They felt like they were in the, jungle on the island there where you'd find the dinosaurs. So their little imaginations were just running wild that day. So here he is, he's like pretending to be scared. So funny. So they were just using their imagination and play. So these are, again, stickers from the sticker sheet. I love the stickers. They coordinate with the paper pack, and it's a great way to start, especially if you're new to scrapbooking. They take the guesswork out of it. You can buy kits that give you pre-designed layouts, or you can use the kit to kind of do your own thing, which is generally what I do. But I thought this little banner was a great way to add color and little pops of all that pretty pattern paper and add just like some playful whimsy to the layout. And then we also talked about how you can use circles. Like if you have a big floral element, it's very easy and natural to tuck leaves behind a flower. Well, I wanted to use these leaves, but I didn't want them just free floating. So I used a circle in lieu of where I'd put a flower, and then use those to kind of highlight more embellishments. So again, Sweet Safari collection. And this was a really fun layout that makes me smile. I had a lot to say on here, so I typed my journaling up so it could be real tiny and I could fit the whole story on the layout. Okay, here is a fun quarantine layout. This is the In This Together collection. And again, if it's still available, I will look into that and leave it linked below, because this one was awesome for documenting 2020. Such fun embellishments. Look, saving the world one nap at a time on a little couch. And my husband and I were doing just that. We're both kind of workaholics. So in the very beginning of the shutdown, we were home and kind of enjoying it, I hate to say. But, we got the little icons, currently hibernating, stay home. Again, all stickers from the sticker sheet. And then they had some coordinating stamps that went along with this collection also. There's no one else I'd rather be quarantined with. That was super cute. So In This Together collection. And you'll be seeing some more layouts featuring this paper pack in this same video. So hang tight for those. All right, another stash busting layout. This was Central Park collection, and it just was perfect for these fun summertime photos. So I have combined some stickers from the sticker sheet with some, these are chipboard titles, letter stickers here, and I have some acrylic embellishments and then sequins just to add little pops of color, and then I stamped a couple images as well. The little pennant banners were fussy cut from a pocket card. So again, that's why I always get the pocket cards. All three were on one pocket card that kind of zigged back and forth, and there is a process video for this layout as well. But I have quite a bit of photos on here. I do print them a little smaller. I think these are like 5 by 3.5, so you can fit more photos on a layout. So super fun layout. Again, so awesome to use that, use up that stash and rediscover old favorites. Okay, here is another one of those In This Together layouts, and I've used my simple serif dies to cut out pandemic problems from the pattern paper and nectarine cardstock. And so this was super fun. I was documenting how we had to mask and how there was a toilet paper shortage. I mean, of all the crazy things, just imagine future generations looking back at these layouts and thinking, what the heck? So I survived the TP crisis of 2020, #survivor. Just some really fun elements here. These were from the stamps, #stay home, quarantine life, and then stickers from the sticker sheet. And when I created this layout in this process video, we were talking about how to make tiny embellishments stand out, because these are tiny little images here and they get lost. They can easily get lost. So I showed how you can use a circle of a separate, a solid pattern or a solid piece of cardstock to lay behind your embellishments, and then we added this stitched frame to give them some presence without overwhelming, so they still stand out. We have a little mask, toilet paper, and hand sanitizer. So super fun. Again, I just love this collection. I still have some, and I'm still documenting these crazy times, you know, that we all went through last year. Okay, this layout is one of Close to My Heart's calendar kits that they had. And so they're all cut above layouts, meaning they have all the die cut pieces and stickers, and the layout is ready to go. Like this detailing here and the stitching was already pre-printed on the base page. And same with this mat behind the layout. This is all one solid piece. So I did switch it up. I can't help myself, and I always kind of mix up the layouts to make them work for me, but that's the beauty of it. They're so easy to do that. You don't have to follow them exactly. Of course, they're awesome, so if you want to, that is completely fine. And I'll move this over and show you another from that same calendar kit there. This is another layout that I did, and I added these little embellishments here just to kind of add some more, you know, substance to the top corner. So those were just from my stash. But all the hearts, and we have the pre-printed background layout, everything already came together in the kit. So those cut above kits are awesome. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at a couple Daisy Meadow layouts, and these were very Easter inspired, and I love the color. I mean, just stunning color. So these do have process videos, but I did a little ink blending underneath just to give a soft glow of color. And then these are all stickers from the coordinating sticker sheet, and then a little bit of pattern paper. And this layout was actually very simple, but to me, I just think, wow, look at all those gorgeous flowers. So this is my mom, and she was helping me. We had a tea party for Easter, and it was really fun. So we did all tea party themed foods, and she went around to antique stores looking for antique teacups, and we kind of started collecting them after that. So it was really fun. So that was my first Daisy Meadows layout. And then we have another one. Now we have a double page layout here, and this was scrap lifted, and I just love the banner element, how they have all these photos on here just kind of strung together like one big banner. I thought that was so pretty. So each side is kind of a mirror of the other. I did switch things up a little bit. They had a small title over here on the upper cluster, and I decided to use that holographic paper. Can you see that shine? That's the dreamy holographic paper that I cut with my simple serif dies and created that title swagging across the top of the banner. So there's some more holographic paper in the little pennant banners as well. So that was super fun. And yeah, this is definitely a layout I think I'll recreate because it was fairly easy to do, and you can get a lot of pictures on here, and it looks really neat. So another Daisy Meadows Easter layout. Everybody's hunting eggs. I put the pictures kind of how the progression of the egg hunt went. So all the kids, we make them line up. Every year they have to line up and wait until we release them, and the little kids get to go first, so they get a head start. So the big kids have to wait, and they don't get the easy eggs in the middle. They have to stay on the outskirts of the yard and find the eggs that are a little bit more challenging to find. So that's just how we do our Easter egg hunt, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, this is another one of those layouts from the calendar kit. Aren't they cool? So easy. So this is all, it looks layered, but this is all pre-printed. That's all one sheet. And then I did add some stamped images. I created the stars and the circles, and these little, this is cool and awesome, are from my stamp collection. So I wanted to add just a little bit more embellishments to this layout, but I thought that was really fun how they had it designed like it's a little film strip. So I just documented these pictures of my boys having fun on a slip and slide, one of those inflatable kind of bouncy house ones. And of course they were seeing how fast they can go and launching over the edge of it instead of landing in the pool, as only crazy boys would do. Here is a layout I created very recently, another stash busting layout. This is the Yesterday and Today collection, and it's a very vintage kind of heritage inspired paper pack, and it was perfect. I documented these pictures visiting an old gold mining town, so it had that old time feel, and I just thought this paper pack was perfect for that. And you can see I'm really into that ink blending on the background there. Sometimes we just kind of we'll do a technique and we repeat it, and then all of a sudden we forget about it and move on to something else, and then you get to rediscover it all over again. So that's always super fun, rediscovering older techniques. So yeah, this one was just on my channel pretty recently, so if you want to check out how this came together, I will leave a link below, but you just have to go to my channel, click on videos, and you can scroll through for the one you're interested in. So super fun Yesterday and Today layout. This is the Eat, Play, Love collection, and in this layout I showed how we can create textured backgrounds by embossing and then sanding. So you can see that cool background technique there. And so I also told the story behind my apron and this KitchenAid red mixer in this process video. It's kind of a funny story that maybe you can or can't relate to. So this was a very bright kitchen themed layout, and I love the cherry paper. It was just, that's my favorite pattern paper in the whole collection. I did add the doily from my stash just to kind of highlight those embellishments there. And this was from a kit, but I kind of tweaked it and did my own thing. And then I love how these little red splatters from the candy apple shimmer brush were really fun. And look at these little wooden elements. The little rolling pin and then the little mixing bowl. There was a lot more that came with this collection too, but they go well with the little wooden hearts, and I thought that that was really fun. Okay, another stash busting layout. So this one I dug into a bunch of paper packs and just mixed and matched things that would work to tell the story behind my son blowing milk bubbles in a giant salad bowl. So we also talked about stamping on the background to create background interest. So I layered stamps. Again, these are from my stash. And I really like the way that turned out. And then just some stamping, you know, behind my, 3 points here just to kind of draw your eye around the layout. So that one was fun. And again, we mixed Sweet Safari with These Are My People is what this sticker came from, the title element here, and then some stamped images. So really good boy layout, I thought. This one was another design team project where we each had a color theory assigned, and mine was the triadic color theory. So when I created this layout, we looked at the color wheel and looked at different color combinations, and I shared some other projects in the video with those color combination examples. So I used primary colors to create this layout. And this strip of numbers is all created with die cuts. Those are all die cut letters or numbers, and then I sanded them. So not only did we create a pattern paper, but it has texture to it as well. And I thought that turned out really fun. Okay, I'll speed this up so this video isn't crazy long, but this is another layout from the Eat, Play, Love collection where I took the kit, the pre-designed layouts, and tweaked things to make it work for me. So I've tucked some pocket cards back here. I added the little coffee cup from my stash because my mom and I were meeting for Mother's Day. She was part of my quarantine circle because we live very close to each other. So we got together for Mother's Day and had coffee in the garden. All right. So this is so funny. I had to have this stamp, this little party girl. That's what it's called, party girl. And I don't know what it was, but I had to have her. You ever see a stamp and you're like, I don't even know if I'll use it, but I've got to have it. That was one of these, but I actually had a lot of reasons to use it. So this one we did some paper piecing to make her dress. And these were all stamped images from that seam party girl stamp. And then this foiled cardstock. And some of this might still be available, so check below. But I used the Celebrate, and the glitter hearts were from my stash. But they do have black glitter paper that you could easily cut shapes from, die cut or Cricut. So this was a really just kind of fun layout, and we were all dressed up in 50s attire for, I keep saying 50s, 20s, the roaring 20s. It was a New Year's Eve party, so I thought that was a perfect reason to use this party girl stamp. Okay, this one was really fun to create. We made a shimmer brush rainbow. So these are all leftover strips of paper. They're each like a quarter of an inch or half an inch wide. So I dovetailed the end and then created this rainbow and used this shimmer brush. So I did a little gesso, put the shimmer brush on there, and then layered up my paper and have this picture of my friend. And we were at a crafty retreat. And so I just really love how this turned out. And it was something different for me. It was a little dabbling in mixed media, and it was fun. It was fun to get a little bit messy and create this layout, and I really enjoyed it. So this layout is featuring the You Are Enough paper collection, and it has all this rose gold detailing, and it's gorgeous. This is my YouTube profile pic, and so I used it to tell the story of kind of how and why I got started YouTubing. And, you know, work and play. I thought those stickers were absolutely perfect because it is work, but I'm playing. We get to create crafty goodness. So I had a lot to say, so I created this little hidden journaling pocket. And so that was kind of fun. And we talked about that in the process video for this layout. This is another take on the You Are Enough collection. I wanted to do a masculine page. Of course, this doesn't have to be masculine. I love blue. I could easily put myself on this page, but this is my son, and it's just his picture of him mountain biking, and he's catching a crazy amount of air. So I just used it. The whole You Are Enough collection was very inspiring and encouraging and uplifting phrases. So I really liked how it worked for this photo because he just is constantly challenging himself, and he likes to help other people with their mountain biking skills, and he's just a kind soul. I used the hexagons are from the sticker sheet as well as these, and then I used the hexagon thin cut, stitch hexagon thin cut set to create that simple background. Okay, another layout with the You Are Enough paper pack. Look at that background paper. It is stunning. This is just such a gorgeous collection. And then we have the butterflies that were part of that collection. They had a couple different sizes, and they're die cuts that you can layer. I just had the topmost layer, but you could do, there's 3 layers to each butterfly. And then the I Love is part of the Every Moment with You stamp set, which is super cute. I'll show you another layout with that stamp set soon. But yes, this was a creative design team collaboration talking about embellishment placement and making embellishment clusters. Tons of helpful tips and information in that collaboration. There's 8 of us all contributing, so I would definitely check that out if you have not seen it yet. This layout features the Hillside Cottage paper pack, which had a very homespun vibe to it, and I really like the black. I think that's really stunning. The black really pops. So this was a pocket card that I used the stitched bracket here to die cut that and add some character to it. Again, stickers from the sticker sheet just layered up. I like to put some behind, some on top to create those embellishment clusters, and I added some wooden hearts and some little black starburst here. And I just love the little fox. She was writing, she likes to write stories, and to me foxes kind of, you think about them in fables and different stories, and so it went along with what I was trying to portray on this layout. Okay, so here's that stamp set I was talking about. This layout, I absolutely love the way it turned out. I think it's just my son's little smiling face there. It just makes me so happy. I did some stenciling with texture paste to create that background detail, and on the bottom corner here too, and then some splatter. But this stamp set, let me show it to you. It's called Moments with You. So the I Love is a thin cut, and then you can combine it with one or multiple phrases like I did here. Now this stamp is available without the thin cuts, so I don't recommend getting that one. I mean, you could cut out I love some other way, but make sure you get the one with the thin cut so you get this I love portion to this stamp set. And even the word love, I mean, it's perfect size to go on a card. So you can see the size there. It's just a couple inches, so perfect for a card. But I love this stamp set. Definitely one I'm going to use over and over and over again to build titles. Super cute. And then this is the mix-in paper pack from the May and June catalog. Really awesome mix-in paper collection, and it's basically a pack on its own. You could mix it in with the current collections or just use it as is. Okay, this is the lovely collection from the annual catalog, and it's very soft, and we have a lot of florals going on, and it just reminded me of my garden, so I used it to document photos of my garden. It was perfect. Life is beautiful, the little house, birdcage, and the butterfly are all from the sticker sheet. I did use the coordinating stamp to stamp on the background, and the doily is a thin cut from my stash, which is one of my all-time favorites. I will never part with that thin cut. I love it. Okay, so this layout was done in my private customer group, and we were looking at ways to use the June stamp of the month. So Close to My Heart always has a stamp of the month that you can get for $5 with the qualifying purchase, or if you're one of my VIPs, you can get it for free with your qualifying purchase. So this is the June stamp of the month, Outdoor Borders, and so we use those elements to create our own pattern paper with customized colors to go for this layout. And this was the Summer Vibes, which is a retired paper pack, but I think there might be some still available. So I love how we can choose our ink colors and stamp that background, and I stamped that by hand. I did not use a stamp positioner, and it turned out really cute and vibrant. Okay, we have just a couple more. So we have let me zoom this out for you here. We have a double page layout. This is the Stars and Sparklers collection, and I did buy the kit, but I made it my own. So I switched it up. I think they had one photo here, and then I used the wood grain paper. This is from the wood grain paper pack from the annual catalog, which you might, if you use a lot of wood grain like I do, you might want to stock up on that one. So the home was part of the sticker, or a title from the sticker sheet, and then I stamped the Away From Home from my stamp collection. But I love these stars. I wanted the workshop because these stars were so pretty to me. And then this little banner here is on a pocket card, and I just cut that element out. And then we did some stenciling on the background with these stars, just a little bit of ink blending with the stencil, super easy, and that turned out really, really fun. We're all dressed up for the 4th of July on our pack trip there, so I thought this layout had a very country feel, but still patriotic, and it was perfect for these photos. Okay, another creative design team challenge where we had to use the Make It From Your Heart books from Close to My Heart. So for those that don't know, Close to My Heart has these awesome books. You can put them in the little 3-ring albums here, and not only do they have gorgeous artwork, but they give you the directions. They give you all the cutting guides. They give you a couple different artwork ideas of, the same layout but a different look. And you can even search how many photos do you have? Do you have 6 photos or 4 photos? And you can look for a layout that will work for you. And tons of good artwork in here. So you can check out that collaboration from the creative design team if you want to see more takes on those sketchbooks. Now, usually I would follow a sketch loosely, eyeball it, and then kind of tweak it. And I thought, well, hey, let's walk on the wild side and not change a thing. So I created the embellishments from my stamp collection and love how this layout turned out. There's my son taking a nap after a long ride with our dog Hank. All right, now I get to go file all of these layouts away in their permanent albums. Yeah, I can't say I'm really excited about that, but it's going to feel really good to get all of these done and organized into their permanent albums. So as I scrapbook, I use a D-ring album. Let me show you that. So I'll scoot these out of the way, and what I do is I use a D-ring album here. Close to My Heart has these awesome albums, and I just put the layouts in here. I just pulled all of these out of here so I can move them around with ease, take them in and out, shovel things around. So that's their temporary home. And then they get filed into, each year has its own album. So I use these post-bound albums here. Let me find something interesting to look at. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this layout. So I use a post-bound album to put them in their permanent home. And again, every year has its own album. And then if I do like a special big family trip or something with a lot of photos, it'll get its own album also. Okay, so I hope you guys were inspired by today's layouts, and now you know a little bit about what I do here on my channel. So if you're not already a subscriber, I would love to have you as part of the Crafty Concepts with Erin community. Thank you so much for tuning in. Here's a few more videos I think you might enjoy, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!